Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
In case you missed it, the viewership for this past week's episode of Raw was the lowest in the show's nearly 30-year history. This has resulted in several shocked Pikachu faces backstage in WWE, with several people reportedly getting the message that there needs to be change, with WrestleVotes tweeting that reactionary decisions will be made in the near future. In more bad news for WWE, it appears that the USA Network, the network which airs Raw, is also pretty damn furious about these record low numbers. And according to TalkSports and Wrestling Daily's Alex McCarthy, they are demanding more adult content. Now get your minds out of the gutter, because adult doesn't always mean boobs. The USA Network is reportedly keen on more violent, dark content on the Red brand, which sounds like they want to return to a non-PG era product in a hope that it will bring in some more viewers. It's been just over 2 years since Vince and the McMahons told the WWE fans they would improve and change their ways, and the anniversary of Vince McMahon's Attitude Era speech in 1997 has also just passed, so perhaps it's time for another restart. Just maybe stick to it this time. With NXT stacking the deck on their show this week, they put themselves back in contention with AEW in terms of viewership at least, but it seems there may be a lot more coming for the black and gold brand now that it is a de facto third brand for the company. NXT UK has been going for a while now, and alongside the recently announced NXT India, there's going to be yet another show coming to WWE. According to Wrestling Inc., Triple H has assembled a team to oversee the creation of a sub-NXT brand, described as an NXT for NXT. Gabe Sapolsky will be leading the team, who was the founder of Evolve. Evolve was already being used as an NXT for NXT of sorts, with talent such as Austin Theory coming from the promotion. Well, this will be a new promotion to rival Evolve potentially, with NXT's own feeding system alongside their other feeding system from Evolve, which also feeds into the main roster feeding system, which also has feeding systems in the UK and in India now. Global localization. Kenny Omega won the AEW World Championship just over 2 weeks ago now, and his follow-up appearances on Impact appear to suggest that he will be aiming to collect more titles in the coming months. He is scheduled to reunite the Bullet Club and team with Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson to take on Impact champion Rich Swann and the Motor City Machine Guns at Impact Hard to Kill in January. And according to PW Insider, that is the only match he is currently scheduled to be having in Impact, so there will be no in-ring build to the match. Not that it needs it. And now it's time for a review of last night's episode of SmackDown in about 5 minutes. The go-home show for TLC was all about Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens and their Universal Championship match on Sunday, with the opening segment featuring Owens cutting a promo on Reigns, telling him that after last week when Reigns told him to speak to his family, he did. And he told them not to watch. Not because he's scared of what they might see done to him, but because of what he was going to do to Reigns. Okay, starting off strong, this is good. Paul Heyman interrupts on the Tron and tells Owens that he thought he must have been a masochist to take the beating he did from Reigns and come back again this week, but now he sees he's a martyr. He can take any punishment and keep fighting, and that makes him dangerous. But it's okay, because Reigns is a sadist. This did a wonderful job of putting Owens over while also hyping up Roman even more, something that Heyman is a master at. Owens says he doesn't have time for this and goes backstage to find Roman, but when he gets there, Roman and Paul have instead come out to the ring, so Owens doubles back. While he's on his way, Reigns offers Owens the same ultimatum he did Jey Uso: acknowledge him as the tribal chief or he will end him. As Owens comes back out, he's attacked from behind by Jey Uso, and he and Roman demolish Owens. But as they're walking away, Owens begins to stir and get back to his feet, and Roman looks concerned. Backstage, Jey is hyping he and Roman up, saying that if Owens didn't get the message before, he definitely gets it now, but Roman, lost in thought, quietly says, "No, he doesn't. He won't stop," before looking up at Jey and telling him to end him. Take him out. This set up the show-long story of Kevin Owens getting his ass kicked constantly. He was attacked backstage by Jey Uso with a chair, before Jey attacks him again in the medical room and puts him through a table, before the final segment of the night, where Reigns, Heyman, and Jey are all out in the ring, and Roman is pondering, why? If you had the opportunity to face the Universal Champion, Why would you blow it? Owens stumbles his way out to the ring, manages to get a quick shot on Jey with a chair before meeting Roman in the ring. But before he can hit a stunner, Jey nails him with a super kick, Roman hits a spear, and the two of them put Owens through 2 tables. Roman and Jay then proceed to quite literally bury Owens under all the rubble. The parts of the tables they broke, chairs and ladders, which led to an awesome overhead visual of the T's, the L's and the C's scattered in the ring with Owens somewhere underneath it. Reigns and co leave the ring, but in gorilla position they watch as Owens begins to stir again and just manages to sit in a chair, saying nothing they can do will keep him down and he's going to win the Universal Championship on Sunday or die trying. Now that is how you do a go-home angle. This whole show-long story was perfect. Owens got his ass kicked the entire show, but still comes out looking like a massive threat, while Roman et al. Looked like monsters because they beat up KO the whole show. When Owens wasn't quitting through the whole show, Roman was getting more and more exasperated, showing just the tiniest chink in the armor. If nothing he does is making people fear him, then what does he do? We don't know, and that's great. The facial expressions through the whole show were top notch. The visuals were great, the backstage personnel too scared to break up the beatdowns, the scattered detritus of tables, ladders and chairs in the ring, KO just barely managing to sit in one of the chairs they left. All of it was spot on, and their match at TLC is by far my most anticipated one. I think it's going to be brilliant. But what else happened on SmackDown? The Street Profits defended their tag titles against Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, which had some fun in-ring action with Ziggler and Roode working over Ford's ribs, leading to a Dawkins hot tag. The only problem is, that's how every single Street Profits match goes. It looked like Roode might get the win when he rolled up Ford and grabbed the tights, but then Ford reversed it into his own pin and won grabbing the tights as well. But why though? Why have the prototypical babyfaces cheat to win? You can say it's karma because Roode and Ziggler just tried it, but babyfaces are supposed to not stoop to the villain's level, especially overly babyfaces like the Street Profits. The Riot Squad continued their feud with Billie Kay, with Kay choosing another tag partner to face them, this time being Tamina. Tamina overpowered Morgan and Riot, and then Kay tagged in and was pinned. I have no idea what the point of this story is, or what the story is. After that came Carmella's champagne toast to Sasha Banks, and the sommelier is back. Wonder how long it'll be before he takes a bump from Sasha. Carmella proceeded to cut a very long promo, which is a shame because some of the lines in this promo were pretty good and they were delivered well. They were just surrounded by a bunch of fluff. She spoke about how Sasha has to be the best, the blueprint, the boss. But if she loses, who is she when she's not the boss? That's a really cool concept for a promo, but it also featured Christmas songs, Carmella heckling the Thunderdome audience when the piped-in noise booed her, and also a different concept for a promo where Sasha's in uncharted waters because this is the longest she's held on to a title. Eventually, after Carmella compared Sasha to cheap champagne, ooh, that's the line cross there, Sasha came out, locked in the bank statement on Carmella before the sommelier broke it up and he took a bump for Sasha. Whey, there it is. And Carmella smashed another bottle over Sasha. This was a solid build for the feud, but it didn't really feel like a go-home angle, and it was a bit of a repeat from last week. Otis and Gable continued their Alpha Academy training, with Otis facing Shinsuke Nakamura. As Otis was lining up for the Caterpillar, Gable told him to hit a suplex instead, which allowed Nakamura to roll up Otis, which he kicked out of, hit a suplex, and then a Vader bomb for the win. Okay. I'm not sure what that was, but okay. The first annual Sammy Awards came next, which firstly is a great name, and secondly means we get more Sammy promo time, which I'm all for. Sammy awards himself Comeback of the Year and Match of the Year, but Superstar of the Year has been mixed up and it's Big E's name instead on the envelope. Big E beats up Sammy and destroys the trophy. This was fine, but I do want them to have an actual title match on pay-per-view now, please. And finally, before the closing segment was Bianca Belair versus Bayley, with both cutting solid promos through the night, hyping the match. The match told a good story, with each time either one of them got too showboaty being punished and losing control of the match. But when it looked like Bianca Belair was on a roll, Bayley rakes the eyes, hits her finisher, and wins. I don't agree with Bayley winning here, when Bianca has been so protected and hasn't been pinned on the main roster since her debut. To throw it away on SmackDown here seems incredibly wasteful. Not to mention that Bianca is the rising star of the two, and she needed the win far more than Bayley did. Yes, Bayley hadn't won a match since August before this, but she still felt like a big deal at least. She didn't need this win as much as Bianca did, and now if there's a rematch between them, it would just feel unearned because Bayley already won. I thought this was a weird booking choice. So that was the show. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and head over to Twitter to vote in our poll on a poll, where 45% of you agreed with me and thought the show was good, while 24% went one lower and voted poor. I can see why people thought this was a poor episode, with some seriously weird booking choices throughout, but for me, the sheer quality of the Reigns and Owens feud, which dominated the show, really brought it up a peg. Yes, there was plenty that I didn't like or found a bit strange, but overall this was a good show, a low 3 out of 4 for me. There's heat backstage for some AEW stars who were yelled at backstage. Press the video to the right to find out more, and press the video below that to watch the latest episode of Board Game Club, where the gang plays the fantastic Wavelength. Don't forget to subscribe here and enable notifications for daily wrestling news, videos, and reviews. I've been Corporate Chopper. Jam that jam.